So just if we start searching in the Google Snowflake trial account, so the first official page signup.snowflake.com. So this is the link like we have to. So here we will get a 30-day free trial version or like $400 credit worth. So let's say if we have used $400 credits in 10 days, then the trial version gets expired and we have to, if we need to continue with the same account, then we want to take subscription account. Or let's say still we are doing a project and training, so if it is not required to continue with the old data, then we can just again take the new trial account with the same email ID and details. So here, every time when you are taking Snowflake trial account, no need to change the Gmail ID, your details. With the same information, you can take n number of times the trial account. So here first we have to fill few details and in the next page we have to fill the other details. So here first of all the name. So I'm just giving my name Lahari and the last name. So this is like your choice whatever the name. And company email. So I'm not going to give company email. So it's just like our Gmail ID because we are learning. And company name, just I'm mentioning it as a self. Like if you want to give your company email ID, a name, you can mention it. And role. So what type of with which role you want to work in Snowflake? So does it means like if I select one of the role and will I not get any features or will it change the Snowflake trial account? No, nothing like that. Whatever the role you select, you will get complete package of the Snowflake, like all the features which are available in the Snowflake. Just for understanding purpose, like they have kept it as a like which role you are going to work on. So that kind of anything you can select. Like we are going to do development, so developer, and defaultly the country information will be available. So wherever we are in that country automatically gets populated here. If you want to change, we can change here. So we have all the countries here. So now just clicking on the continue once this page is done. So we will get the second page. Here we have to select the edition, region and cloud. So what does edition means? So as we have discussed already in the Snowflake architecture, we have four types of editions. The same thing I'm just briefing here. So here we have four types of editions in Snowflake, nothing but four types of different subscriptions. Whatever the usage you are going to have, like you can take that edition. So standard means it's a basic edition. We will not have some of the features which are available in the Snowflake, like time travel period, multi-cluster warehouses, materialized views. So these concepts will not be available in the standard edition. If your project doesn't require these concepts, you can go for the standard edition. No, we need all the features, full features we need, but we need in a budget. Then we can go for the enterprise edition. So here, every feature which are available in Snowflake will be available in the enterprise edition, and the security wise, everything will be available. So, and budget wise, like when we compare with the standard with enterprise, it's somewhat higher when compared to the standard edition. Business critical. So along with the all the capabilities which can handle by enterprise edition, it also have like some additional support, like a HIPAA support, a PCI compliance, fallback. So these type of supports and security things are available in the business critical edition. So if you whoever having very sensitive data, so at that time they can go for the business critical edition. VPS, Virtual Private Service Network. So here the separate cloud, a dedicated cloud will be allocated to your organization and the things will be going on. So the cloud is not shared in the VPS. So that if we need VPS, then we have to contact to the sales team of Snowflake and discuss with them like what is your requirement, what are your cases, how your data is there, and they'll support, I mean, they'll give suggestions like this will be fine and this will be fine, and accordingly the costs also will be differing from edition to edition. Now for me, I don't require standard because I cannot explain the features of time travel, multi-cluster warehouses, materialized views. I cannot explain. I need to explain in our training module. So enterprise edition, I can go even business critical, but I am only having trial version, that too $400 credit. So if I'm going to the business critical, the same features will be available, but the only thing is $400 credits will be used consumed very fastly because there the rate of credit cost is very high. So I'm just going to the enterprise edition where I can explain all the features and I can use my credits as soon as possible. So that's the reason I am taking enterprise edition. So defaultly it will be selected enterprise. We can uncheck this and select the other edition also. So this is the first part. We have to decide which edition we have to take. And the next part is selection of the cloud. Which cloud we have to take, either Microsoft Azure, Web Server, AWS or GCP, which one we need to take. So this is again your project requirement where you are getting the most data, like which cloud services you will get the data from transactional systems or from the files or the API, SFTP mechanism. So whatever it may be, where your data is mostly hosted. So that part we will take here. So in our training, I am going to teach with Snowflake with Microsoft Azure. So I am selecting here Microsoft Azure. So once we select the cloud, we need to select the region also. So defaultly, wherever your nearest region cloud is available, that will be populated, because how it got to know Central India, Pune is the nearest region. Because already when we are in the first page, when I have selected the country as India, automatically whatever the regions available in the India, it's nearest for me. So that will be visible here. Let's say if you want to change, you can change. There is no problem. You can change to any other region also. There is no problem. Now I will go with my nearest region, Central India, Pune. Next, this checkbox, like for this agreement, service agreements, everything, terms and condition, we have to check this box. If we want to read all these terms, then we can just go to the click on that page and you'll get all the agreement details here. So once it is done, we can just click on the get started. So this is just for auditing purpose. If you want to provide, like, you can give the information, or it's not mandatory, you can skip also. So like why we are signing up for the trial account, and what will you use Snowflake for, just for understanding purpose, how they are using Snowflake. If you want to provide, you can give it. Otherwise, you can click on the skip. So once we are done, it shows you are now signed up. You can just, one activation email link will be received to this email, whatever the email ID I have given, that email ID I will get. So now I'll just go to the email ID and just click on the, now I got the email. So let's say Snowflake Computing, activate your Snowflake account. So here I'm just clicking on the click to activate, or if you want to do, if we are not able to access with this link, we can just click on this link and activate our Snowflake account. So just I'm clicking on the click to activate. So here we have to provide our username and password details. So we have to select the details of username and password. Now I'm just mentioning my username. So username is Lahari, and the password, whatever you want, you can give here. So again, the same confirm password we have to mention. Now once we are good with the information, so these information you should be very handy, because whenever you are logging into the Snowflake account, automatically you need to provide these details, username and password. So be careful, like whatever the details you are providing, you need to remember these things. So just click on the get started. So it will redirect to the Snowflake account page. So here we can see our Snowflake account is available. Wherever I can see, this is my Snowflake account. Here you can see 30 days of trial is in left. So in this way you can log in. So now when we have activated, automatically it entered into the Snowflake page. So every time how to log in into this Snowflake website. So just clicking on the sign up and just closing all the browsers. So how to get the link? So once we are done with the activation, we will get a welcome email. So in this welcome email, you will get the details like what is your username, what is the URL link every time you have to connect. So this information you will get. Or you can just click on the login into Snowflake. The same URL, whatever we are using, the same URL here also it will be open. So you can see here JORP hyphen HM07666. So the same URL you can see here, https JORP HM0766. The same link you will get. So you need to use this link every time and log in into your Snowflake account. So where do we have the details, login details? We have entered, right? When we are taking the trial account, the same detail we have to enter here. So I am mentioning my password. So again, I have logged into same Snowflake account HM07666. So this is about Snowflake trial version. So any doubts here? Okay, now we will start with the tables topic continuation. Already we have seen the creation of the temporary table, how it will get created. We have seen here. Now we'll start with the transient tables and permanent tables. So before that, like how to take I mean, we need to write a query to create the permanent and the transient table. So I need a worksheet. So how to get a worksheet? So already you are in the worksheets tab. So if you just click on the plus symbol, you will get the options to select like which worksheet, SQL worksheet or Python worksheet, or you want to create a folder. So now I want to create a SQL worksheet. So I'm just clicking on the SQL worksheet and it redirects to the worksheets page. So here we have to write our queries and execute our queries. So where can we see this information? Again, we have two tabs here. Databases. So we will see all the list of databases here, and worksheets. So you can see all the worksheets information here. Let's say if you want to rename your worksheet. So just either you can double click here and rename it. So let's say I am writing it as a table. Otherwise, if you don't want to use double click, just click on the three dots here and click on the rename. So I'm just typing tables. So in this way, you can rename your worksheet name, or even you can here also you can do. Once you get the worksheets all here, the information, you can rename here also. So anyways is fine. Now we will create the transient tables and permanent tables. So before that, we need database and schema. So now I want to create a transient table. So transient table, any table needs to be created under schema. Any schema needs to be created under database. So first of all, we'll create database. Already we have discussed. Again, I have taken a new trial account, right? So that's the reason like I am not getting the old databases here. So now I'm just creating database here, and under the same database I'm creating schema here. So just clicking on the run button. So tables also created successfully. Now we will start with the creation of the transient table. So already we have seen the features of transient table, but I'll just recap the things. temporary tables, like it just used for storing the non-permanent data. Let's say if we are doing any testing activity, or if we are doing like only one day, we need only for some time we need to have it, or we need to apply some transformation, so we can just use this type of temporary tables and can work on the that. And what is the lifespan for these temporary tables? It's only 24 hours or a session logout. Until a session logout or 24 hours, this temporary table will be available. After that, it will be removed from the Snowflake account. So why 24 hours has been kept as a criteria? Yes, any Snowflake account after logging into it. So now I have logged in around something 7:50. So tomorrow 7:50 up to 7:50 it will be in a open state. After 7:50, 7:50, that means 7:51, it just asks for you to re-log in into it, because any Snowflake account can stay only for 24 hours. After that, we have to re-log in into it. That means we have to give our username and password, and again it will start a new session. So one session maximum it can stay up to 24 hours, or if you are logging out before that, then the session gets ended there. And these temporary tables are not visible to the other users. Whoever creates, let's say if I create, I can see, and whoever my peer colleagues with the same responsibilities role, they will not able to see. So this is for uh, user specific. And here, like the temporary table doesn't have time travel. If time travel is not there, fail safe period also will not be there. And this temporary table, whatever we are seeing, it doesn't hold the uniqueness requirements. That means like whatever the constraints, that will not be applicable to the temporary tables. So this is about temporary tables. Transient tables, it's exactly opposite to the temporary. That means these tables will be visible to the all the users whoever having access on that table. And these table, even for a session logout or 24 hours, it will not get dropped until we run the command called drop table name. It will not gets dropped. So here we need to drop explicitly. And in on this table also we don't have time travel and fail safe period. So this is the main thing on the transient tables. Apart from this, I mean, time travel and fail safe period, it acts as a permanent table only. Only these features will not be available in the transient tables. So these are kind of permanent tables. And permanent tables, so we know like permanent, the word itself saying it will not drop automatically. We have to drop manually, then only it gets dropped off, and it will be visible to all the other users. And time travel will be available. So it is default one day. It can be configured to maximum 90 days according to your usage, like you how much time travel data you require. Based on that, you can configure to 90 days or 30 days, 60 days, whatever the range you want, you can do. After the time travel completes, it will enter into the fail safe period, that is 7 days. So that what is how to define, how to fetch the data, everything we'll see in the time travel class. Currently on these tables we will have the time travel and fail safe period. So these are the three types of tables majorly, and we like these are the differences between this temporary, transient, and permanent tables. Now we'll go with the practical. So we have already discussed this topic, and any doubts here on the theory part? Okay. So now we'll start with the creation of the transient table. So I have this many columns and the data types are there. So I have to create a transient table. So how to create a transient table? First of all, how to create a temporary table? So we have seen already. So if we use like a normally create table name, if it will become permanent table. When we want to create a temporary table, create temporary uh, keyword of temporary should be mandatory, and type of table is table. and here details, like whatever the table name. So always the table name should be accompanied with the schema name. Schema name should be accompanied with the database name. So these are mandatory. And here we can see table orders temp. So this is my naming conventions. In real time also, they in real time projects and organizations, they might use this naming conventions or may not be. Here TBL refers to table, and this is related to the orders data, so I have used the orders, and it is a type of temporary, so that's the reason I have used the temp as a suffix. Just for understanding purpose, this is a temporary table. So after that, I have given like bracket open and my column names, their data types. For each column info, after each column information, we have to give comma as a separator, and then the second column and data types, third column data type, nth column data type. So after completion of this, like we will create a table here. So how to run? Just selecting the query and clicking on the run button. So we can see table orders 10 successfully created. So how can we get to know whether the table is created or not? So two methods are there. Through UI we can see, through query we can see. So through UI, here if we come and expand our database, like we have created in pre-stage DB dev database, and again schema, SC table schema. So if we just enable, expand this, and again you have tables, and again if you expand this, you can see the table has been created. So type is table, number of rows. Still we haven't loaded any data. So size and number of rows will be 0. Any clustering key have you applied? So clustering is nothing but sorting of the data. That we have a separate class for that. That time we'll discuss. So currently we haven't mentioned anything. So it's a blank. Owner with account admin role I have created when it created just now. So if you want to see the definition, you can just click on the definition and you can see the whatever the query we have run or at the database how it is storing that information, it will maintain here. So this is through UI how to check. And if let's say you want to check through query, show tables. So you can see when it got created, what is the name of that, in which database, in which schema, what is the kind. So as we have different types of tables, temporary, transient, and permanent. So here it will display, if it is a temporary table, it will display as temporary. And comment. So any comment have we provided? Cluster by. So any clustering key has been given to the table. So currently these will be blank because we haven't mentioned on a table this is the clustering key, this is the searching mechanism, nothing we have defined, so it will be blank. When we discuss about that topic, and we'll see what appears in the cluster by and automatic tracking, everything we'll see. Rows, we haven't loaded the data, so it's 0 bytes, 0 bytes. Who is the owner has been created, and what is the retention time. So retention time means time travel. So how many days it is being applied, that many days it will be visible here. So currently we haven't applied the time travel. So to apply the time travel, we need to use a function. Days, we have to use a function and apply that function. So currently we haven't created because we have a separate class to apply for time travel, to apply the on the table and see the data, everything. So when we are not giving anything, default values will be appearing. So default value for any table is 1 day, and for the temporary table you cannot configure it because on the temporary table we will not have time travel. So this automatic clustering, tracking, optimization, everything relates to clustering. So at that time we'll see. Is external. So is external in the sense like we can create external tables also. What is external table? So here whatever the temporary table we have created here, we are hosting the data, everything in Snowflake, and Snowflake itself paying the charges. But external tables are the kind where we will create in Snowflake, but everything maintenance will be handled at the cloud. So if we are creating with the help of cloud So when it is external table, the flag becomes Y. Currently it is an internal table, so that's the reason the flag became N. And this enables schema evaluation, everything we will discuss in our later classes. Owner type, so whether it is a role based or user based, so it's a role based. Is event, so we have other set of tables, event tables, so we'll discuss in the later classes. So whether this kind of table is a event table or not. So currently we have created just a temporary table, not event table, so the flag became yet. So these are the information we have, like when we show the I mean run the show tables command about that table, full details, how it is been working, everything we will get here in the show tables command. Any doubts here? Okay, let's say if we want to describe the table, we want to see the definition of the table, then through UI you can just click here and get the column names and their data types here. In the same manner, if you describe the table, we have to use the command called describe table name. So once you do this, automatically you will get the columns information, all the columns information and their data types, whether it's a kind of virtual column or normal column. The constraints, so whatever the constraints are available, null constraint, primary key constraint, unique key constraint, whether it is being applied or not, that information we will see. And what are the any we can pass the default values, so that in that also we'll see in a next class about the constraints, how to default, how to give the comments, everything we can see here. So this is like describing about the table. What are the details available for that table? We can see using the describe command. Show tables means get the list of the tables, and describing the table means about that table, the information. What are the columns are there? What are the policies available on that? Data types, everything we can see here in the describe command. Now we'll just move to the transient table. So this is about temporary transient table. So here when we are creating the transient table, same definition, like I am taking same set of columns, same definition, and creation also very simple, like very similar to the temporary. But when we have used the word called temporary, if we use the word called temporary, then it will becomes temporary table. If we use the keyword called transient, then it will becomes a transient table. So if you just see the definition here, so the same similar definition, create type of table is here transient table, and the table name. So here the table name is tbl underscore orders underscore tran, and it is under the schema of SC tables. It is under the scheme database of Prestige DB dev. And whatever the columns we do require, those columns information we can see here. Now I am just creating the transient table. So just selected the query and clicking on the run button. You can see the output as table TBL orders tran successfully created. So that means the table has been created successfully. So how can we see this information? So here under the tables information, if I just try to refresh or expand and collapse, then you can see. So the table orders transient. So you can see the information when it has been created, what is the type, and you can see the definition also completely whatever we have run. So this is like seeing here. And how to get the list of the table? Similarly, show tables. So you can see the two tables are available when it has been created and what is the table name, everything. So here we have to concentrate majorly on the kind column. So here when it is a temporary table, the kind column value is temporary. When it is transient table, the kind column value is transient, and the rest of the columns same. Like we are not talking about those columns because we haven't applied any policies, nothing we are applying. So that's the reason I'm not touching this. So currently we are concentrating how to identify the type of the table. So in some organizations, this underscore tran, underscore temp, underscore perm, they might give or they might not give. So that's the reason how to identify whether it's a temporary table or transient or permanent table. So based on the kind column, you can understand it's a temporary, it's a transient table, or it is a permanent table. So in this way, you can just see the information. So any doubts in the transient table? Okay. Now we'll see the permanent table, how to create a permanent table. The syntax wise, similarly same like a temporary and transient. Here, at least for temporary and transient, to tell your table is transient or temporary, we have to write a keyword called transient or temporary. But for a permanent table, if you are not mentioning anything like create permanent, we don't have that syntax. Create table means it's a permanent table. When you want to create a transient or temporary, you have to mention the keyword mandatorily. If you are not mentioning, it will be treated as a permanent table only. So here, create table and your table name. So table name is TBL orders perm, that is created in SC table schema, that is created in pre-state DB database. And the list of the columns here, whatever we have taken the same set of columns. Now I'm just selecting this query and clicking on the run button. So we can see the output in the down window as table orders perm successfully created. So now if we want to see the information again, show tables, you can see here the kind of the table. For the permanent table, the kind is table, just it's a table. It will not say as a temporary, transient or permanent. It will just say it as a table. Table means it's a permanent table. If it is temporary, transient. So this is about permanent table. So any doubts here until now? Permanent table, any doubts? No doubts? Okay. So when we have discussed about this theory, temporary, transient, permanent, so we in the temporary tables, one point is there, that is same name can be used to create both temporary and transient tables in the same schema, same database. What does it mean? It means, like, let's say we have a permanent table name, and usually in any database or data warehouse, with a similar name in the same schema, same database, you cannot create with the same name. But here it is possible. But is it possible with all the other kind of tables? No, it is not possible with all other kind of tables. It is possible only with permanent versus temporary. That means already I have a permanent table and I want to create a temporary table with the same name. Can we create? Yes, we can create that. And who, let's say if we are doing any DML changes, who will accept the data, or who will accept any DDL or DML changes, who will give the data from which table? If we are having with the same name, who will be coming as a precedence? So when we have such criteria, the precedence will be taken by the temporary tables until the temporary table is live, like whatever we have created. It will accept all the DDL, DML, DQL changes, and it will work as a full-fledged table. Then once the temporary table is dropped, I mean after the session or forcefully we drop, then the permanent table will become active. So that concept we will see now. So already we have created table orders perm. So now if I just refresh here, all the tables will be coming into the picture. So here we can see the table order sperm is there, and it's a permanent table. We already knew it's a permanent table. Now with the same name, same definition, I will create what I will create. I will just create a temporary table. So how to create a temporary table? Just adding the keyword here saying temporary. Okay, so now it will become already with the same name, table order sperm. The table is already available as a permanent table. But now what I am going to do, I am creating with the same name, table order sperm, with the database in the same database in the same schema. I'm going to create a temporary table. So now we'll see whether it accepts or not. We'll see first. So now I'm just creating a temporary table with the same name of the permanent. So it accepted, and we can see table order sperm successfully created. And now if I just refresh here, I can see only one table. I mean, table order sperm with the same name. We have created one permanent and one temporary, but even though we are able to see only one table here, table order sperm. But let's see whether uh, who will be appearing, either permanent table or temporary table, who will be appearing. So just clicking on the show tables, and you can see the word table order sperm. A kind is temporary. Initially it is table. That means it's a permanent table. Now it is kind of temporary. That means it's a temporary table. So that means now whatever the operations we are going to do on this table order sperm, who will be taking all these things? It will be taking by temporary table only, not the permanent table. So now what we will do, we will try to insert few records into this table. Let's like only one column we will insert just for understanding purpose. So I am inserting per o underscore order key values 1, and the rest of the columns I am populating it as a null. So let's say I am taking 3. So now I am inserting the data into this particular table. So 3 rows has been inserted. Now I will just see whether the data is available or not. So select start from table order sperm. So we can see 1, 2, 3 records has been loaded into the table. Now I will just delete the, okay. So already we have seen DML insert, we have seen DQL select also we have seen. We will try to add one more column into this table. So alter, by using the alter, I am just adding one more column. Add column, let's say what we will add, extra, just understanding purpose. So extra column, a data type of varchar 10. That's it. We are adding to the same table order sperm. We are adding one more column here. Additionally, like whatever the columns are there, additionally one more column I am adding. So let's say we will describe the table and see the new column has been appearing or not on in this table. We'll see. So we have added the column extra column, which is a data type of varchar. So that means whatever the operations DML, DDL, DQL select, whatever you are doing, it will be accepting by the table order sperm. But who is this table order sperm currently? It's a temporary table. The precedence has been given to the temporary. If we are having with the same name, permanent and temporary with the same name, precedence will be taken by the temporary table. So again we can see show tables and see the table order sperm is a temporary table, not permanent table. And whatever the changes we have done, it has been accepted by the temporary table only. Now, until now, is it clear? Like whatever I have shown? Okay. Now we will drop the table. So if we are dropping the table, because again I cannot do the session logout and re-logging into it. So that's the reason I am forcefully dropping the table. Here the table name is table orders perm, but now indirectly I am dropping the temporary table, not the permanent table, because already the precedence has been taken by the temporary table. So that's the reason the permanent table will not get dropped, only the temporary gets dropped here. So now I can run this command, drop table, table name. So you can see table orders successfully dropped. So that means now the table has been dropped. Now if I run show tables again, what happens? The table orders form is still available, but the kind is table. So that means the temporary table we have dropped manually. So that's the reason automatically the only leftover table with the same name is our permanent table. So the kind became table. Okay, on this table we have done some operations, right? So let's say we will try to run the data, see the data, how 3 records are available or not, we'll see. So we don't have any data, but we have already inserted 3 records in the table. And let's say if I describe the table, the extra column we have added at the end after the O comment, that is also not visible. So that means whatever the changes when we have created a temporary table with the same name of the permanent table, whatever the DDL, DML, DQL operations, it will be accepted by the temporary table, not by the permanent table. So permanent table still before creating the temporary table, whatever the data is available or whatever the columns are available, it will still remain the same. So that's the reason, be careful here. So sometimes what happens when we are analyzing the data, we want to apply some transformations on the data, we will just create unknowingly the same name of the temporary permanent table as a temporary table. So at that time, whatever the operations you are doing, it will be accepted by the temporary, not by the permanent table. So is it clear or any doubts? Let's take one just simple one. We will start with the simple one more topic because we are left with the 10 minutes. So this is about types of tables which are available in Snowflake, the majority of the high level tables information. So we have other tables also, that when we get a topic like when we are discussing about Snowflake, we'll discuss about event tables. But these three are the high level category of the tables. So the rest of the things will continue the topics at the time whatever we are getting. Now here in the table we will give the columns information. So when we are giving the column information, so when like the let's say if we are getting the data from the SAP HANA systems or BA systems, then we will have the column names be it's not in a readable format, readable and understandable format. So that means like VBELN, POSNR. So these kind of column names will be there, and we will not understand that information itself. So at that time, what we will do, when we are writing the column name and the data type, we will mention, okay, this column is holding this information. Just additional comment will be provided while we are writing while we are creating a table. So that is called as commenting the column or commenting the table. So now we will see commenting the column, how to comment the column. Just giving additional information. If you are not giving this also, no problem. It's optional, pure optional. It's not mandatory. So before that, where can we see this comment information? So when I describe the table, for across each column, you have one particular comment column called commenter. So under this value, if you provide any value for this column, for O underscore key, if you provide any comment, that will be displayed under this comment column. So currently, when we have created the permanent table, we didn't use any comment part, just for understanding that there we have created a permanent table. Now we will apply some comment and see how it works. So now I have taken the same syntax, create or replace table. So what does it mean? Create or replace. So let's say if I am not using replace, already again I have my permanent table. Create for table name we have already created, and with the same name we can create again a temporary table, but we cannot create again permanent table. Okay, so if we are just mentioning it as create table or replace, in the sense remove the old definition in the sense this part, remove the old definition and add whatever now I am given. These will be considered as a definition for that table. Or replace, in the sense just drop the old definition and add the new definition for this table. So that is the concept. So now we'll try to run without or replace, what is the error it shows, and we'll see. So now just ignore this not null everything. These are the constraints. Tomorrow we'll see how all this works. So now I'm just removing all this. So here I have given my column name data type. Again, I have given my second column name and the data type. For this column alone, I am mentioning a comment saying like we have to use the keyword called comment, and in single quotes you have to mention what is the comment information. So this is the customer number. So like again, you can give for all the columns or only for the few columns. It's not mandatory to give all the for all the columns. So the shipping priority will be listed. Something you can mention, general terminology. So now once it is done, we can just create the table. I'm just creating the table here. So it's saying object already exists because I have the same table name, that too a permanent table name. But even though I'm trying to create with the same name, so that's the reason it is throwing error to me. So if I use create or replace, it will not throw error to me, because again I'm mentioning if you doesn't have this table, then just create it. Or if you have it, just or replace with the old definition and create with the new definition. So now I'm just creating this table. So we can see the message as table TBL orders form successfully created. Now if I go and see the table definition, describe table, your table name. So we can see the table name as O underscore key and everything like the, if we go to the comment column, for O underscore key, I don't have any comment. O underscore cust key, I have the, for O underscore cust key, for O underscore cust key, I have the comment as this is the customer name. And O underscore order status, total price, I don't have anything. O shipping priority, like shipping priority will be listed. So in this way, if you want to add any comment for the column in the table, just a keyword called after data type, you can just give keyword called comment, and then you can provide the information like whatever you want to do in a single quotes. Why we are using single quotes? This is the character information. So when wherever, not only here, wherever you are giving the information as a character, it needs to be in a single quotes. Not only for character, for date, time also we have to give in a single quotes. So this is about commenting the column. Any doubts here? If we don't have anything, we'll just wind up today's class, and we'll see in tomorrow's class with the constraints and defaulting the values, everything about the table columns we'll see in tomorrow's class. Okay guys, thanks everyone. Have a nice day.